Welcome back to the Rustic Planters. If you're new here, we're your go-to channel for home garden design ideas with a rustic twist. Today's video is all about how to turn a small yard into a charming sensory garden that stimulates sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste. Whether you're working with a narrow side yard or a tiny patio, this episode is packed with ideas that make a big impact. Before we dig in, pun intended, make sure to subscribe to our channel, like this video if you enjoy it, and leave a comment with your favorite garden feature or idea you'd love to try. Your feedback really helps us grow this green-loving community. Now, grab your gardening gloves, a warm cup of herbal tea, and let's get inspired by the world of sensory gardening, rustic style. A sensory garden is designed to engage all five senses: sight, smell, touch, sound, and taste. It's not just about how a garden looks, but also how it makes you feel. This concept is especially powerful in small spaces where every detail counts. Incorporating sensory elements can help reduce stress, increase mindfulness, and even improve focus and mental clarity. It's a form of garden therapy that's accessible to everyone, regardless of space. Rustic charm adds an extra layer of coziness and authenticity, grounding your sensory garden in warm, natural textures and tones. Start by sketching your space. Even the tiniest yard has potential when you're intentional about zoning. Create areas for sitting, planting, walking, and perhaps even a small water feature. Use natural borders like reclaimed wood, river stones, or old bricks to softly divide sections. This keeps the garden organized without losing its wild charm. Don't forget vertical space. Hanging baskets, wall planters, and trellises can add depth and greenery without taking up precious ground. A rustic sensory garden benefits from an earthy, harmonious color scheme. Think sage green, soft browns, dusty blues, and creamy whites. These tones don't just look beautiful, they also enhance the relaxing, timeless appeal of your garden. You can use them in flowers, foliage, pots, and furniture. Accent with pops of color like lavender, marigold, or deep burgundy to draw the eye and stimulate visual interest without overwhelming the senses. Texture is an underrated but crucial part of a sensory garden. Think fuzzy lamb's ear, spiky ornamental grasses, or the rough bark of a rustic trellis. Incorporate a mix of textures by choosing plants with different leaf surfaces, bark, and growth habits. This adds dimension and invites curious hands to explore. Rustic elements like weathered wood, galvanized containers, and stone paths also bring tactile richness to your garden design. Scent is one of the most memory-evoking senses, and it's easy to enhance with fragrant plants. Lavender, rosemary, mint, and jasmine are all perfect choices. Cluster aromatic plants near seating areas or along walking paths so their scents release when you brush past or sit nearby. You can also hang dried herb bundles or place rustic oil diffusers outdoors to extend the sensory experience into the evening. Sound is often overlooked, but it brings your sensory garden to life. Start with rustling grasses and the gentle buzz of bees from flowering herbs. Add a small water feature like a rustic tabletop fountain or dripping clay pot. It's a beautiful and calming auditory element. Wind chimes made from wood, metal, or recycled materials add subtle, melodic tones that shift with the breeze. Why not plant things you can eat? Incorporate herbs like thyme, basil, and oregano, or small veggies like cherry tomatoes and peppers. Use rustic planters like repurposed crates, baskets, or old enamel pots to keep your edible section charming and accessible. Adding taste not only enhances the sensory aspect, but also encourages kids and guests to engage directly with your garden. Create rustic walkways using mulch, gravel, flagstone, or reclaimed brick. It defines the space and adds a satisfying crunch underfoot. Meandering paths slow movement and invite exploration, perfect for smaller spaces where you want to linger. Be sure to include textured stepping stones or wooden planks for added tactile appeal and safety. Every sensory garden needs a place to sit and soak it all in. Choose a rustic bench, a pair of vintage chairs, or a swing made from reclaimed wood. Position seating in a shaded spot with a view of multiple garden zones. This helps you appreciate the diversity of sights, sounds, and smells. Cushions made of burlap or cotton in earthy tones add comfort without clashing with your rustic theme. Evening lighting turns your garden into a sensory retreat after dark. Use solar lanterns, string lights, or candles in mason jars. Soft, warm lighting enhances the cozy, rustic atmosphere and lets you enjoy scents and sounds late into the evening. Consider motion-triggered lights along paths for both practicality and surprise charm. Utilize fences, walls, and trellises for vertical gardening. Hang old buckets, create a herb wall, or train vines like clematis and sweet peas. Climbing plants add height and privacy while also offering fragrance and texture right at nose level. Rustic wooden ladders or repurposed doors make charming trellis alternatives that blend functionality with vintage flair. Wildlife adds movement and sound to your sensory garden. Attract birds with rustic feeders or shallow clay bird baths. Pollinators like bees and butterflies flock to native wildflowers and fragrant herbs, great for your plants and your senses. Old logs or handmade bug hotels made from scrap would offer shelter to beneficial insects, and they look great tucked into a garden nook. Nothing says rustic charm like handmade planters. Use old boots, wooden crates, enamel basins, or chipped teapots to plant herbs and flowers. These quirky containers add personality and are great conversation starters. They also help recycle materials that might otherwise go to waste. Line or treat containers as needed to ensure drainage and durability, but keep that well-loved, weathered look. Decor is where your personality shines. Add old garden tools, vintage signage, or a rusted wheelbarrow as artistic focal points. Rustic decor adds texture and character without needing to buy anything new. It's sustainable and full of history. Position decorative pieces where they'll catch the eye, but won't interrupt the garden's natural flow. Plan for year-round sensory engagement. In spring, focus on flowers. In summer, herbs and fruit. Come autumn, swap in pumpkins and mums. Use rustic elements like stacked firewood, hanging dried flowers, and lanterns to keep the garden inviting even in winter. A sensory garden should evolve with the seasons, giving you something new to experience every few months. You don't need a pond to enjoy the sound and feel of water. Repurpose an old basin or watering can to create a mini fountain. The soft trickle of water invites calm, masks neighborhood noise, and adds a whole new sensory layer. Plus, birds and bees will love it, bringing more life and motion into your rustic retreat. Even in a small yard, you can create moments of discovery. Use tall plants or trellises to build secluded corners or reading spots. Hidden nooks invite curiosity and make your garden feel larger and more immersive. Tuck a stool and a cushion under a vine-covered archway, or nestle a chair behind a wall of sunflowers. If you have children, add elements that invite play, like stepping stones, a mini herb maze, or a sandbox with natural materials. Kids love sensory gardens too. Let them grow their own strawberries or mint and feel the fuzzy lamb's ear leaves. Make it rustic with old crates for toy storage or a handmade mud kitchen for creative outdoor fun. Keep your garden low maintenance with drought-tolerant plants and mulch to retain moisture and suppress weeds. Use self-watering planters and group plants with similar care needs together for easier up. Rustic gardens are forgiving. Imperfections add charm. Let plants grow a little wild and embrace the natural look. Your garden should reflect you. Add a favorite quote on a wood plank, a DIY signpost with travel destinations, or painted stones with family names. Even a rustic garden can be deeply personal and emotional. Fill it with memories, mementos, and objects you love. A sensory garden that includes your personal story becomes a space of healing, beauty, and meaning. Thanks for joining us on this tour of how to turn a small yard into a big sensory experience, rustic style. We hope you're feeling inspired and ready to dig in. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment with your favorite sensory garden idea, or share a photo of your own rustic space. Until next time, happy planting, and keep growing with the Rustic Planters.